Hello and welcome to Let's Build a Website, the weekly live stream where we're building a website 1 hour at a time, 1 week at a time, every single Wednesday in 2024. I am your host, Deborah Carver. I'm the publisher of The Content Technologist, a resource for content professionals working in the age of algorithms. This show is presented by The Content Technologist, but it is aimed at anyone who wants to learn to build a website, whether you're an actual content professional or you're just building a portfolio site or you're just curious about building something on the open web. I am going to walk you through my methodology for putting together a website, all while getting the steps ready or getting my own website ready because the website we are rebuilding is deborahcarver.com, which fell off the internet, unfortunately, last year because I wasn't paying attention. So I'm paying attention now and I'm making a web series out of it, and you're here watching. This is our third episode, and I'm super excited about it. And you can tell the setup's gotten a little bit different for each episode. I just think it's funny. I was just putting on pre-show makeup, and I was like, man, I'm probably gonna get fancier and fancier in each episode. And you're gonna see me like by the end of it, like next episode, I was like, I should get some mascara. So next episode, I have mascara, and by the end of it, by December, I'm gonna look like if you remember the Drew Carey show, the character Mimi, who had like tons and tons of makeup on, I think it would actually be that would be pretty great. It would also echo one of my favorite all-time reality TV shows, Andre Leon Talley's work on America's Next Top Model as a judge, where he'd like add things every single week. Love that show. Anyway, I digress. We're here to build a website and not much else. And we don't have that much time, and we have a lot to do today because today we are building a sitemap. So these next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to go through some things to think about while you're building your sitemap. And then we're going to go into the tool that I use to build a sitemap and build the sitemap for this website. And this is definitely a more like a real test of this experiment because I am going to be walking you through my thinking while trying to do one of the most complex parts of building information architecture for a website, which is the sitemap. So, number one, we're going to talk about what sitemaps are. And you're clearly going to see that as part of the demonstration. But there's actually a few different types of documents that are referred to as sitemaps. The first one is the kind we're building today, which is the content site. In the content sitemap, we are defining what pages will be on the website. So we know which pages we need to build and which pages that we need to find assets for, which features we need. We're also going to be defining how the navigation works on the website. We're going to be doing all these things and putting them in a visual map so that we can see all the content that our website contains. And the things we're going to do to use to build that sitemap is we're going to use some standard best practices on personal websites, which we did look at a bunch last week. We're also going to go back to that content strategy sheet from the first week where we put our thoughts together on what we actually wanted to include on that website. And we didn't do an actual content strategy statement, but we're going to put that strategic thinking towards building our website today. I don't think we really need an actual content strategy statement for a personal website. I think you can strategize in your own head what you want your website to be and let that come out in the sitemap as you're building it. If this were a company that we were working for, then I would absolutely say, oh, let's have strategy. Let's have a big long session where we get to do a lot of activities and get to the sitemap page building process. This is not that. This is a personal website and it doesn't need to be that complicated. So we're going to be building this content sitemap today to define the different pages on our website. The second type of sitemap that you might hear about, especially if you work in content on the SEO side, is an XML sitemap. An XML sitemap is just a sitemap that helps search engines. It's a sitemap that's built in code that helps search engines see all the different pages on your website. So if you work in SEO, you hear about XML sitemaps a lot. And if you just Google the term sitemap, you are going to find more tools for creating XML sitemaps than visual sitemaps, just so you know. They are different, completely different things. You make an XML sitemap after the website is done, and then you just upload it to Google Search Console, and then Google knows what pages are on your site. But only if you're really concerned about SEO, because for these personal sites, they're going to be small enough you don't really need an XML sitemap. The final type of sitemap, which I am even reluctant to include because it's such an old school tactic, but websites back in the day, 10, 20 years ago, used to have an item in the footer where they'd say, oh, it's the sitemap. And they'd just list the different pages on the website in outline form so that if you didn't actually know how to navigate to each page or wanted to find a page deep in the website, that sitemap would be able to bring you there. Some large institutional websites, I think they're still educational institutions that use that old school, okay, this is where all the pages are in the sitemap. And if you want to find the title of a page and just click to it directly, you can use this sitemap. But for the most part, we are, and I'm sorry, the screen is over here, the camera is over here. It's just how's this going to work, at least for this episode? The more I'm looking at it, I'm like, whatever. Anyway, the third type of sitemap you rarely see anymore, and it's really for big, complex websites where people need to find a lot of information versus your own personal website. You don't really need that type of sitemap. So those are the three different types of sitemaps. I'm sure some of you are like, Deborah, you haven't even talked about which platform you're using yet. You haven't even talked about what you're going to build this website on. And I'm like, I know, because it actually really helps if you, website builder, as I look at the camera sometimes and sometimes look at my screen, if you think through your sitemap before you pick your platform, because your sitemap's going to tell you what content and features, what technical features you are going to have on your website. And those technical features, not the cost of the platform, technically, not the cost of the platform, not the only platform. Those technical features are actually going to help you dictate your technology choice. You want to pick a website platform that supports the kind of sitemap that you want. Yeah, that's just what we're doing for this particular exercise. We are building this sitemap so that we can then determine which platform we are using. And the platform episode is episodes 8 and 9. So this is episode 3. We've got a few more episodes of content planning to do before we are going to choose our platforms. So that should be interesting. And in all honesty, we might not finish the sitemap today. We might pick up on it next week a little bit before we get into page templates. We'll see. We might finish it today. I am not sure. This is definitely sitemaps. Again, like I said, big, complicated content strategic thinking for most big websites. For a personal website, we're going to take an hour. So, um, all right. So why do you want to have a sitemap? Number one is that your sitemap brings out your content strategy. Your sitemap helps make sure that you don't, and helps make sure that you get all the content that you are planning that you want to include on your website organized and as part of your website. And so that you're thinking about the plan holistically, you're thinking about the content holistically, and not not just winging it. Like the classic way of building a website and why people stop building websites or get frustrated is that you just sign up for a platform, you sign up for WordPress, whatever, and then you go and it's okay, I'll build a page and then I'll build another page and then I'll build another page. And oh, it needs a navigation. I'll throw that on top. And oh, these things don't click together and nothing's working and I don't understand what I'm doing. And it's really frustrating. So we're going to not do that by building our sitemap first. So we have our plan before our website. And we're also going to use the sitemap technology, use our site mapper ahead of time. So then if you are on a limited budget, you can just get your PDF, get rid of that tech before you even start paying for your platform. Because at some point you're going to be paying for something, but this is helping us minimize those costs so that when you're actually ready to work, you can start paying then and not paying now. Anyway, I didn't even include payment in this list of reasons, but it is a reason. So anyway, the other reasons you're going to be making a sitemap is you want to make sure that all of your content fits on the website. When we're going to be looking at the content strategy doc that I did a few weeks ago. And we want to make sure that everything that I wanted to include fits neatly on the website within the navigation. So we're going to be determining the navigation of the whole site based on that content strategy. And we want to make sure that everything fits, that we have room for everything. That if I create a category called writing, that I don't feel like my video work is being left out. Or that if I don't create enough categories or I create too many categories, I think I've made too many categories, I can figure out a way to consolidate them in the navigation. The third reason we're going to be creating a sitemap, drag and drop. There's some really great drag and drop tools for site mapping now, and I'm going to show you one of them. We're going to go into tools in a second. But there are some really gorgeous tools that you can use to move things around visually, to organize and reorganize, and you're not committed to anything. Whereas when you build a site in your content management system, the second you create a new page and create the URL for that page, you're locked into that structure until you then have to go back and change that navigation. So basically, we're going to do the drag and drop and easy to move stuff now so that when we want to build our website, we have less of that to do. We aren't rethinking or reorganizing after we've already built all these pages and then it's, oh wait, I have to reorganize it now. I have to do all this detail work. It is way easier to drag and drop when you have an open canvas than when you have a bunch of existing pages that you need to go back and rework and restructure. So that's why we're building a sitemap ahead of time. Also, we need to plan for what assets and what features we need. Like I said before, the platform issue is a big one. All right. The platform issue is a big one, and we haven't decided which platform we need because I actually don't know which platforms support the features that I want to have on my website. So we're again thinking through what content we want to include so we can make sure that gets represented on our website. Again, planning helps everything work. Planning is a good idea, especially when you are making digital decisions that are hard to undo. Even though it seems like everything digitally is so easy to undo. You press undo and it's done. Building a website, not the case. So finally, what we're going to be doing with the website and why we build a sitemap, it helps define the navigation. When you're working with web developers and building really big websites like I do in my consultancy, you are often what happens is that you're building the navigation first. Like developers are able to build the navigation first and like the visuals of the navigation while we're like those of us content strategists are still fighting over what actually goes on the page. So often just building the navigation first and having the vision for the navigation first is really crucial to getting that site strategy and getting the website up efficiently. Again, we're not building a super big website, but like I said before, having the navigation in mind really helps so you don't have to go back and say, oh, I made all these pages. Now I have to retitle all of them and reorganize all of them and recreate all the URLs and do all that little detailed stuff that it's so much easier if you just do it ahead of time and you think about it ahead of time. So you don't run into a wall later and like, I don't know what this is. I'm not making a website. That's what we don't want. So that's what we're building, why we're building a website too. So with that, oh, and tools. Tools. Yeah. So let's get to find navigation out here. Scooch over. All right. So these tools there's lots of different site mapping tools online. If you Google site mapping tools, like I said, you're going to get XML sitemaps mostly. So these are all visual site mapping tools that I'm super excited about. And the first one that I am going to use, it's got a big star by it, is Flowmap. And we're going to use that one. I am not paid by Flowmap. But I love their tool, which is really simply focused on organizing content on a website in a drag and drop way I see my, can see that. Okay. Organizing content on a website in a drag and drop way so that so that we can think through the content experience of the site. There's also user flows in Flowmap. It's like both site mapping, page templating, and then user flows if you are planning for a more complex content experience. But I just really like Flowmap. I've been using them for a few years and love them. There's other tools, Dynamapper, which I have not used before, although I checked it out today. It's a perfectly fine site mapping tool. There's a lot of other content tools that they offer. Dynamapper is one. Another one that is free is this Glue Maps. And if you just go to gluemaps.com, I think gluemaps.com. Yeah, gluemaps.com. It's a completely free version of what I'm going to be doing in Flowmap today. Flowmap is about $15 a month. It's really not that expensive, but I haven't used GlueMap extensively. Usually free tools, there's clunkier, generally have to deal with ads. You don't necessarily know that your content is safe, but again, for a personal website, does that matter? If you're looking for something quick and free, GlueMap is a great way to make a sitemap. Other site mapping tools, literally anything where you have a canvas and like to make shapes. So Figma, all those different whiteboarding tools, you can just use those to make sitemaps if you're comfortable with them. I'm not super comfortable making sitemaps in them. Sometimes I have clients who are like, oh, we'll just make it in Miro. And I'm like, can I make mine in Flowmap? But you can use all those site mapping tools to create a sitemap. You can also just use a spreadsheet. You can just use a spreadsheet and list out your turns and then list out your pages and organize them in the way that you want to organize them. That is totally okay. Spreadsheet site mapping is, I used to do that at the beginning of my career before Flowmap was invented. Spreadsheet site mapping totally works. Finally, the last thing that you can use is a good old fashioned pen and paper, which I do sometimes, especially when I'm working on larger information architectures. I'll try out different, I'll just off screen it and write out my thoughts. Problem with pen and paper, of course, is it's not very, at a certain point, you're going to want to move it to some kind of digital format, especially if you're making any changes. Although, yeah, one time I literally did have a client give us a sitemap that was drawn on a napkin and was like, here, build this. And I was like, oh, did you? So yeah, we want to make sure that our sitemap is comprehensive and we're using a tool like this because then we can make changes later down the line. And so with that, let's get into site mapping because I have talked for far too long now. So I'm going to jump off. This is the pre-recorded version. The live stream is going to begin right now. Oh, hey. Oh, hi. Hello. Live stream time for Let's Build a Website. And I'm going to get right into it because it is going to do the screen share time. All right. Please don't judge that I have the default background on for my screen, which you can't even really see, so that's fine. But I do want to go ahead and share. This is flow map, and we're going to be working in flow map today. So I'm going to create a new sitemap. Again, it has you can, if you have a URL, you can drop those in here. If you have an XML sitemap, you can create a sitemap that way. Scooch over. And there's templates here. I don't love templates, but we're going to start with, I do actually love templates for certain things, not for a sitemap. For a sitemap, actually, we're going to do that my way. There is a personal blog template, but I'm going to go to a blank sitemap anyway. And then over on this screen, we also have the content strategy that we built in week 1, where we wrote down everything that we want to include in our personal website, what we wanted to say, just the guiding thoughts for how we want to build this website. So this content strategy is here for our reference, and we're going to go back and forth to it. I don't know how well you can see it, so I'll try to read out what I'm writing and talk through my thinking. And finally, if you do want to follow along and build yourself, this is Glue Maps right here, GLO Maps. It's a visual site mapping tool that's free. So you can also just start from scratch on Glue Maps. We're going to go to Flow Map. So and again, I am not, I don't even have an affiliate code for Flow Map. I just love their product and I don't want them to go away. So you should sign up. I am just going to start with the homepage. So, as you recall from last week's episode, we went through all those different websites. And one of the options that you have on your homepage is to just basically make a mini site and a mini sitemap and list. Adrienne Marine Brown did this. I'd list out all the different parts of the website on the page. So you can just have your whole, like a preview of the whole website. And so it basically functions as a single page website. And then link out to individual pages to have those. I don't actually really want to do that. I want to put a little bit of content on my homepage. I'm not sure what yet, and we don't need to decide that today, but a little bit of content on my homepage and then link out to other pages that have different functions for what I do. So we're going to do that. The pages I know based on my content strategy that I need to have. So let's go first into our things that we absolutely need. So, number 1, this is a portfolio personal website, so it needs a biography page. And right now, I'm just going to build these pages separately as child pages. So, a bio page, we need a contact page. So no matter who you are, I highly recommend having these 2 pages, a bio page and a contact page. Because sometimes people will just search for your name and bio, and then they'll get that instead of the homepage, which has things that are not necessarily your biography. You can also put your bio on your homepage, but I don't actually want to do that. All right, bio page and your contact page. Looking at my strategy, I do need a CV, which I am definitely going to put beneath bio. CV. Your CV or your resume. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. CV and bio and contact. It's likely these could all go under one category that is like about, but I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to make that decision yet. So I'm just going to keep on listing what I'd like to include on the site as child or as equal pages, and then we'll start organizing them and moving them around. All right. So professional expertise and creative abilities. So how am I gonna do this? Is obviously professional expertise. This is creative abilities. And then the things that I could build individual pages about. So video work and speaking work. I want to build feeds That's what it says here. I'd like either a social media feed or a blog feed that's going to highlight my writing, my speaking, and some of this video work, in addition to the fun stuff. But the professional stuff that we really want to do is the writing, speaking, and writing. Newslettering is part of the writing, speaking, newsletter work, or sorry, writing, speaking, video. Not that I want to be known for video either. So I'm not sure yet, but I'm pretty sure I want to have separate pages for writing and for speaking. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I just want to have a page that is called projects, which is a catch all for kind of all the weird stuff that I can do online. That video work, any kind of, I actually have my playlist newsletter, some photography, and also the different courses and things that I'm doing with content technologists, which again, we're making this website so that I can build a personal brand aside from content technologists, which I am using more as a very specific educational brand versus my personal brand, which is I want a place for all my stuff. All my stuff can go in this website. So we're going to have a page called project. All right. And so podcasts, appearances. Okay. So here's some. We don't necessarily need to have individual pages for every single item in this content strategy. Sometimes they're going to be subsets of other pages, and sometimes they're going to have pages of their own. So speaking could have just everything listed on my speaking page, but actually, I think I'm going to have a page underneath that's podcasts. So I do two types of speaking. I do like podcasts and I do conferences. I haven't in a bit, but I do conferences and events. Uh, so these are my two types of speaking. They're going to go under here. Maybe I'll combine them together, but also then we can grow from here. We've got contact writing speaking projects. All right. One of the things I'm thinking is, yeah, the projects. Okay. The initial goals are it's clever, fun, creatively professional. We want to have enough pages that cover this comprehensive amount of content, but not so many pages that it becomes overwhelming or hard to manage. So, again, if I have 3 subpages for each of these, that might be a little bit hard to manage. Podcast, conferences, and event podcasts and series, because actually I can put let's build a website here. Podcasts and series, conferences, and events. All right. Contact, writing, speaking, projects. What else do I have listed in this site? And then I've got my social media here. Blog roll. All right. I That's something I don't want to forget is the blog roll or list of links to my friends because it's something I want to bring back. It's something I want to bring back to the blog roll list of links. I want to have a list of here's my friends online and here are the projects that they're doing. And I want us all to link to each other because that's generally a pretty good idea. Projects. So projects could be video and photography, newsletters. Do I want any other projects or subcategories of projects? We could add social media here. Social media and have embeds from all my social media feeds. Am I okay with that? We'll see. Done. All right. So this is actually looking like a decent sitemap. Um, we've got a contact page, bio and CV, writing, speaking, projects, and blog roll list of links, friends. Oh, of course. Ooh, yeah, this is what we want. Okay. Because we don't want newsletters to be a child of video and photography. We want it to be over here. Of course, it's the drag and drop is not quite working quite as I want it to. That's Ghost software. It's not working exactly how I wish it worked. What did it just get rid of? What just happened? Okay. All right. So we're building this site map. All right. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go through this list of things that I said I wanted to include on my website, and I am going to start dropping them on each page. I actually thought this sitemap part would would take a little longer, but and it turns out I've actually been thinking about it. I've been thinking about my sitemap for the past 2 weeks, which means we've been doing these other activities, but I've been thinking about what the content should be. So I've been considering it and making it a part of thinking about this project, which means that, yeah, I'm going to start adding a few details into each of these pages. We're not going to build the page templates just yet. That will come next week. Although, if we get to some of that today, hey, in the next 25 minutes, hey, we'll get there. So, my bio page is obviously going to have my headshot. What else is good? So, we can put, so there's this the nice thing about Flow Map is that you can make a list of little things that go on each page. I don't think tools like Blue Maps have this feature, but you can just, and it doesn't save anything if you don't write in it, but you can just make a list of the content for each page. Shows this page template. It's going to be a bio. You know what I loved from what we looked at last week is like long bio and the short bio. What was that? Neon Yang's website where they had 6 different bios of all different character counts, that is a person who understands how to deal with promoting themselves on various digital channels where you always need a different length for every platform. Good on you, Neon Yang. Thanks for the idea. My CV, yeah, it's going to be bigger than LinkedIn. my LinkedIn CV. I try not to put too many details there, although my CV also really needs to be updated. Okay. Contact, and we just also want to say book me as a speaker. I do have a speaker booking page that I will link out to, but I'd like to have all the information that is on the speaker booking page publicly listed on the website too. And contact me, book me as a speaker. Writing is going to be more of a feed that showcases writing samples. Right. Oh, what about mentions? Where did my mentions go? I have done some press before, and for the most part, I think my press mentions are going to go on this bio page. Whoops. That's silly. Actually, we can do them under the bio because we can make bio about, let's use bio. All right. So press mentions can go here. And again, this is designed so that these could all be individual components of a single page, but we don't necessarily need them to all show up as the individual components. Or they could be longer pages depending on how much content I have. All right. Speaking, what we want to put in speaking, past engagements and current topics. And current topics that I speak about. And then we also want to make sure it has a link to booking page. Podcasts and series. I'm going to list the podcast I was most recently on. Uh, and then I'm on another one that has not been published yet. Oops. Conferences and events. Where have I spoken before? I did Confab. I did Bright Edge. I did content tech. I did a thing. I did a thing with Writer like ages ago during the pandemic when we were all like, what should we do? We'll make content because we're all trapped in our houses. I did it in like April 2020, this really like big thinking thing about narrative for the brand Writer, which is one of the leading AI brands right now. And they're like doing completely different stuff now, but it was pretty fun. So I might mention it. All right, podcasts and series, speaking, past engagements, current topics, link to a booking page. And actually, past engagements, that is covered. Okay. That is an error on Flowmap's part. Okay. All right. So we're going to go into, and I'm going to just start filling these pages in and make sure that I'm covering everything that I want. So this is a preview of what templates are going to be next week. We're going to go more into the content types that would need to be in each template, but right now we just can just list what's going to go on each page. So projects, technologist, courses, understanding GA4, and also a new course. I'm releasing a new course next month. By the way, on advanced content strategy. You heard it here first, kids. Here we go. This course, Let's Build a Website. So I am counting this as a course. Video work, a short film, Google Photos, What else did I have listed? Uh, my my cooking gifts from 2016 films. I've actually made 2 short films. All right, newsletters. Let's go through newsletters. Okay, there's the content technologist, Air Drummer, which is my friends only newsletter, and I'm conflicted as to whether I should list it on my website, but I really like Air Drummer. So I'm gonna put it here now. You can always get rid of it. Always make it secret. And my other newsletter is left on the website. A website. And then this is where we're gonna list social media. Okay. So we've got Letterbox, Spotify, Instagram. Oh, video and photography, the salon that we did last year. We're gonna put that at the top. And also, yet again, let's build a website. Hey, we want to be comprehensive and then we can, because now it's, should I just have projects that are content technologists or should I have courses? Oh, and I put the newsletters in the wrong place. 'Cause- Well, that just deleted everything behind it, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Can I just move? Yeah. Okay. Great. Can I just move this up top? I like this info map where there's just some orphan pages up here. All right. Newsletters, social media. Oh, and listed as a child page. Oh, okay. So I can actually put that here. Yes. Okay. That's how we use flow map. There we go. There we go. There we go. On writing, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to list topics I write about. So if you wanted to, I don't know, no one's going to hire me to be a writer because I don't really write for anyone but myself, but I do want people to know what I write about. Can't forget LinkedIn. Sorry. Oh, there you can hear. I don't know if you can hear my stomach growling. It's almost dinner time. All right. All right. Let me make sure newsletters is listed. Oh, no. Oh, no. It doesn't matter. We don't need to list it first. This isn't prioritized. It's just, all right. This is honestly like a pretty comprehensive personal website. So I'm going to talk about what I want to do with the homepage, which I've just been thinking about today. I want the homepage to be a feed of everything. Think so. I'm one of those people who gets annoyed, not annoyed, but I don't talk about my personal life very much at work. I'm pretty private, and I will talk about music and movies or like things that I like a lot, but I don't talk about my life very much. And I'm still not going to put that much personal detail on this website, even though it's a personal website. What I am going to do on my homepage is build this is what I want to be my replacement social media feed. So I wanted to have the types of content that I create in different places. So I have vertical video is one of them because I love Instagram stories. Not gonna lie, I know they stole it from Snapchat, but I have never been on Snapchat because I'm an elder millennial and I am old school about my social media. Although I've been doing I'm like, I have all these TikTok goals. I do I like the idea of TikTok. I hate training my algorithm. All right, I do vertical video. I do writing. I do video. I do horizontal video. I make playlists each month. Playlist. I want all of the we're not putting things in order. We're just being comprehensive and listing it out. Next week, we're gonna put it in order and think about how we could wireframe some of these out. And also, what about just short form thoughts? Again, I like you sometimes just miss a place to put all of my short form thoughts, whether that's Twitter. I was never really big on Twitter, but I was big on Tumblr. I want my homepage should be my Tumblr, right? Every social media network has pretty much turned into what Tumblr was. So that's what I want my homepage to be, but without the reblog. Just me, my personal website. All right. So playlist, writing, vertical video, events, anything that I have coming up that I want to promote. I'll definitely want to put that on the homepage. And so, yeah, I think this is a pretty comprehensive sitemap. That's what happens when you spend 2 hours thinking about your strategy ahead of time is then, oh, this types of thing comes out. As I said in the beginning, obviously, if I were doing this for or with a client, there would be a big, large group discussion, and we would be talking about all the different page types that we have and all the different content that we need to put in the different places. But the cool thing about building your own site is you don't have to listen to anyone but yourself. So, yeah, just hanging out with me here. So, one of the things I like about Flow Map is it does allow us to customize. Oops, shit. Remember when I told you there would be cursing when the software didn't do the things that I wanted it to do? That, that's it. One of the things I really like about Flow Map is it gives you some sample wireframes of how things can be. You could just have a PDF file or a JPEG, or you could have a history or timeline. Ooh, a line chart, a landing page, LK page. That didn't. I wonder if maybe this didn't get labeled properly or get mislabeled at some point. Okay, about us, about us. Yeah. So they're going through some stuff at Flow Map where they have some duplicates and mislabels. So that's fine because this is an awesome resource. Because especially for someone like me who's not a UX designer normally, but understands how web pages work, looking at this. So home. Well, actually, let's do feed page. And that's how it's represented. So again, we go to blocks here. Homepage looks like a feed. So we're gonna make this. We're gonna spend the last 10 minutes here making this look pretty and doing all these page covers. All right. So about we just saw the about us there. Contact contact form. That's a form. All right. Writing. Ooh, career one. I'm gonna put that on CV. There we go. Press mentions is gonna be some kind of a feed. It's gonna be more like that. It's gonna be that kind of a blocky little feed. And actually, a lot of these I'm gonna use this blocky feed as the content type because part of the reason we visualize the sitemap is then we are going to next week start to look for commonalities and look for the types of content that we're going to use over and over again. Because to make a website really good, we don't really want to, we want to use templates. We don't need to make every page unique. We want this content to feed into each other, link to each other, flow around. The sitemap does not account for that linking in the way that it could, but it is, or it did not in the way that it could. It just trying to put cross linking in a sitemap doesn't really work all that well. And it's a waste of time if you're trying to draw a line between all of these. Doesn't really work. You don't really want to do that. But and also, if you're watching it, if you have any comments and want to jump in the chat, this is a good time because I'm just prettifying my sitemap. Which one looks like writing? That I would like the writing page to stand out a little bit, and yeah, so speaking is gonna look like these other pages. Because yeah, we're probably gonna use a same template or a similar template across a lot of these pages that are showcasing different types of work. For funsies, we're gonna put this as a calendar, but I don't have upcoming events right now. Hello, photography. That's definitely gonna be like log one, and we'll have this as log two. This is gonna be list icons. Newsletters, I am gonna use this features one because that is primarily what I do is newsletters. And yeah, I love these covers. I love them. It helps me so much to visualize which ones will be the same or similar and which ones will actually be a little bit different when we're actually building out our website. I'm gonna finish this up right now. Then I'm gonna say goodbye because we only got 4 minutes left. Next week, we're gonna be building out these page templates more in depth. So same time, same bad channel. Wednesdays, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central. Let's build a website. We'll continue until this website is built. Please follow, subscribe, do all those things. I'd really appreciate it. I know we're starting this completely from scratch, other than some content technologist stuff. This is presented by the Content Technologist, which is a weekly newsletter that will come out tomorrow. And yeah, this has been pretty fun today. Got a lot done. I love a good working sesh where like you get a lot done. And even if it's just a working sesh with myself, wish accidental page. All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining. This was really fun. I hope you had fun as well. Did I keep just giving me that page? Go away. All right. Thank you for joining. Thanks for coming to Let's Build a Website. We will be back here next week, same time. I just said this, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you so much for coming. And we're going to be building these page templates out much more in depth. We're going to be starting on the path to wireframing from a content strategist perspective, from someone who wants to be sure that each page is built with all the content that we need, but often works with a designer. And since we're going to be working with templates and building this website out via templates, we want to get a good idea of what each page needs so that we can make sure that we're going to pick the template eventually that we want, or the platform or the template that we want. All right. I am going to go ahead and put up the end screen, but I want to thank you for joining and hopefully we'll see you next week. I'm also going to start rerunning these episodes sometime soon. Stay tuned for that. Have a great night and stay warm if you're in the Northern Hemisphere because it is cold out there. Wow, that was nerdy. Anyway, good night.